So trusting the process of how you are going to get to where you want to be or where you want to go and the person you want to be is, I think, so important. It's such an important element to fostering this new you, because we don't really know how we're going to get there. And I think we get trapped in the how when we should be really trapped into the why. The how is like our minds will just end up just going in overdrive down crazy freaking roads that lead to nowhere when you try to think of the how, because the how is just, we don't know what we don't know. And if you're going to try to think of the how of, if you're going to be, let's say, a motivational speaker, and yet you have never spoken in front of anyone, you have no speaking skills, and you have no content, you have no audience, you have no people on YouTube, you have no nothing. And let's say, I want to think of the how. Well, shit, you could think of how, and it's just going to be, it could be anything. It could take you down any road, anywhere, and you could easily get caught in the how and go nowhere. And I think that's what I've done in the past in all my other businesses, is I would always think of how instead of the why. And when you allow yourself to just focus on the why, it's because I want to help millions of people. Okay, so there's the why. Why I want to do it. I want to give. I want to change people's lives. All right. So how do you do that? Well, first, I guess I'm going to learn how to speak. Okay, that's a pretty good how. And then maybe you get a speaking coach. That's a pretty good how. And maybe build a YouTube channel. That's a good how, right? But let's say I build a YouTube channel and it gets me 1 million subscribers, but then what? I'm not on stage. I'm not in front of millions of people or thousands of people. Okay. So if my mind is thinking about that now, then it's going to start creating all these, well, what if this happens? And what if this happens? And what if this happens? And then you just end up doing nothing, and it'll stop you in your tracks. So what I realize is so important is that we need to just trust the process. And I am a big firm believer, if you've listened to any of my other videos or watched my other videos, is that I believe in manifestation, as I have manifested things in my life, like exact things, like hitting $100,000 a month in my Amazon business, getting the car that I wanted, the exact car, the exact color, and all these other things that I had visualized in my head, and they came into my life. So, but what I learned is that you have to trust the process, because you don't know how you're going to get that thing. And sometimes you may think that it's not working, but in order for you to get to that end result, you have to go through these things. Like maybe for me to become a motivational speaker, I had to fail at every business that I did. And maybe I had to go to rehab. Maybe I had to go battle through addictions. Maybe I had to go through depression and anxiety so that I can reach other people that are battling that same thing. And maybe if I didn't go through those things, I would have nothing to talk about. I would not have an ability to relate to millions of people. So you have to understand that if you trust the process, that things are working the way that they're supposed to, then it allows you to be like, okay, this is just part of what I have to go through to become that person I want to become, instead of fighting it. Because then when you start fighting it, then you start just going down a path of resistance, and then you resist the change, you resist what the obstacle is, and then you start fighting it more, and then you end up just like losing all energy and momentum, and then boom, you're like, you give up, you're like, this isn't gonna work, I tried and look what happened, see, I'm not supposed to be a motivational speaker because this and this happened. Well, if you just trusted the process of it, you allow yourself to go through obstacles like, okay, this is just part of the process. How do I deal with what's in front of me right now? Because the end result is there. I just have to go through this obstacle, whatever it may be. And it gives you the strength that you need along the way. So even though you may not think that you need these things, you don't think you have to go through these challenges. when you do, you get some sort of strength and you learn some sort of skill and you get some sort of experience. And then for whatever it is that you want to be or the person you want to become, you end up with this skill set that is going to make you a better speaker, or make you a better salesperson, or make you a better business owner. I mean, if you look at any of the top people, successful people in the world, they've gone through so many freaking failures. Like literally failure after failure after failure, because it's like every time they fail, it's just one step closer to becoming that success, to becoming that person. And you realize it's not that it's not the failure of the business that makes them it's who they became on that failure that makes them successful.